My name is Sarah. I'm with Tenderfoot Village, and I'm going to be doing a little live tutorial on how to make these ghost gnomes in a jar. Give me just a minute real quick and let me get set up on my computer so I can see your comments. Bear with me just a moment. See if I can find it. Here we go. Let me make sure it's muted. All right. Hello, hello. I'm really excited about this craft. This is a really easy, fun craft. You can make a lot of them really quickly. And they're just great little additions to like your Halloween decor. Okay, so let me set these guys aside. Come over here out of the way. So some things that you're going to need to do this craft. You're going to need mason jars, and I'm going to show you, I was originally going to show you two different ways, but I found this little jar. It's plastic, which I really love. I found it at Dollar General, and it was like $2.50 or something. I really like that it has the little flared edge. So when you're looking for this in Dollar General, it's white. And I went ahead and spray painted it black just to see how that would do for Halloween. And then I added a little bit of purple ribbon. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of, I think, walk through that one too. If I don't show this one in the process, then I'll actually just put it with the group of little ghost gnomes that we do in the end. So again, you're going to need a couple of mason jars. The size is not super crucial because you're going to adjust your craft to the size of the jar, which is another really cool thing about this craft. So this one is glass. This is a 32 ounce. This one is 16 ounces, it says. I got these at Michael's, but you can get them at Walmart or anything like any place, or you can get them out of your refrigerator. You could probably use a mayonnaise jar. You could definitely use anything plastic or glass. So just to kind of give you a few little ideas. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the lid off. Let me make sure and swipe away my comments on the screen so I can see what I'm doing. Make sure you guys can see me all the time. Okay. I angled this down just a little bit. All right. So we're going to do both of these. So you want to take the lids off because that's what we're going to be working with first of all. We're going to set these tops aside. We won't need those until the very end. Another thing you're going to need is some Stay Flow liquid starch. I have not tried with the aerosol spray type Stay Flow, but this one works really well. And I got that at Walmart. You're going to need a little bit of black craft paint. I'm going to be using this kind right here. The color is ink. And I think I got this at Walmart or Target. I can't remember which one carries it. I believe it's Walmart. You're going to need a spool for one. We're going to do two different versions of this. So you're going to need a spool for one version. And the spool that I'm going to use is 1/4 of an inch right there. So you can see that. And I'll have all this in the description if it's not there already. You're going to need these little wood beads for your noses. They're called round balls. I got these both at Hobby Lobby. These are 3/8 of an inch. You're going to need a skewer. So BBQ skewer, you can get these at Dollar Tree. Walmart carries them in their grilling kitchen section. And then I also found these little sticks that you can get in the craft aisle at most places, including Walmart. They're kind of squared, so those will work just fine if you don't have the skewers. You're going to need some scrap pieces of faux fur. You're going to need some cheesecloth. And I cut these into squares, and I like 4 layers. So the way that I did that was I took my cheesecloth, which I also got at Walmart, and it's already folded into 2 layers the way it comes, and it's on this long roll. And so what I did is unwound it, and I folded on top of itself, and it automatically gives me 4 layers. And then so this is it folded on top of itself. It's actually longer than this, but I already cut off a couple pieces. And then I just kind of eyeball a square. This does not have to be perfect. Well, I guess we can just fold it in half and make it more even. And I'm just going to cut this right off, hopefully without trouble. Cheesecloth can be fickle sometimes. There we go. So it does not have to be straight. You do need to be a little careful because it is white, so it will pick up everything, including the faux fur and all of that. Okay, so you want 4 layers. Whoops, I see where I missed a piece. Just a second. Alrighty. I hope everybody is having a wonderful afternoon. I know it's really early to do a live normally for me, but I wanted to come earlier in the day. It just worked out for me today. Okay, so now we have our 4 sections, and I'll also, if I'm working on these one at a time, I will kind of fold them different angled so that I can remember how many pieces without having to spend more time trying to separate them. So I'm just going to set those aside. And it looks like I undid this. I undid my doing. Okay, so these are already 4 pieces, I believe. We're not going to worry about that one because I'm not sure. 2, 3. Okay, so I have 3 because I'm going to work on those 3 jars. So here's my 3 lids. I'm going to grab a spool, and then, I'm sorry, I didn't tell you all the rest of the supplies. I'm going to grab my little organizer basket. So you're going to want some wooden dowel end caps or little doll heads, or they're like, it just depends on where you're at. If you're at Hobby Lobby, sometimes they call them dowel end caps, and then Michael's calls them doll pieces or something, I don't know. Then you're going to want these doll pins. These are not doll pins to me. This is an old-fashioned clothespin, but they call them doll pins if you want to look them up. I think it's probably because here in the last few years, clothespin dolls have gotten more popular. And so that is probably why that is the case. What do I want to do? Another one of those? I think I'm going to do that. Okay. Alrighty. So now to do this version with the spool, so this is going to make a little bit smaller one. I want to take my skewer, or you can take I believe the 6-inch dowels. Yes, they fit in there very, very well. So that's one of those 6-inch dowels that you can get from the Dollar Tree. Not sure if it'll fit inside of those. So it won't fit inside of the little straighted off heads, but the skewer does. So it's really just up to you. We're going to be securing this either way. I think I'm just going to do the skewer. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go, it can be a messy craft too. You do not have to worry about being super, super clean until you get to the point of putting the eyes on your ghosts, if you want to do that. But I'm just applying a little bit of glue to the end of that, and then I'm going to take and I'm going to stick this right in the center of my little lid. So that's for the little version. So for the larger version, I'm going to take this little doll pin bottom stand. Sorry, I'm getting another one so I can do these at the same time. And I want to center those as well. So glue on the bottom, be as messy as you want or as neat as you want. Okay, I'm gonna have to switch. Whoop. Sorry, you guys. Man, I am not, once again, having look. So I let these sit a little too long. Y'all bear with me just a second. I'm going to have to squeeze out a little bit of the glue and get it going again. Okay. So, again, a little bit of hot glue right there on the bottom. Smashing it down into the middle, right in the middle of my lid. That one's already on there. We're good to go on that. Let me squeeze this one out a little bit too. Alright, that should help. And so the next thing we're going to do, we're going to go back to this little guy right here, this one, and I'm going to try and figure out how, so I'm going to grab my lid just for a second because this is important so we know how tall we want to keep our ghost. So I'm going to probably cut off, let's see, that is About 3 inches is where I want to be. So I'm just using my little ruler that I have laying down. I'm actually going to use my pliers and snip off a piece. Knew that was going to happen. And I'm going to, hello everyone. Lily said, thank you for taking the time to teach us. Lily, I am so excited. This is really cute. I cannot believe how cute this turns out. So I just had to share. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some hot glue and I'm just going to begin kind of lining the inside or the outside of this skewer a little ways. And the reason I'm doing this is because I know that it's too small for that hole. So I want it coated so that when it goes inside of there, it's going to stick on there really well, and the extra is going to fill in the gaps and help it be centered. So that's what I'm looking for that's what I'm trying to do whenever I do that. So we have that ready. Now let's move on to this version. I'm not sure what version you're doing or if you're doing both with me, but just to make sure that I'm doing both for you guys. And then don't give me fits. Got it turned up to higher to hopefully warm it back up again, my glue gun. Okay, this is being a booger. So instead of putting it on there, I'm going to kind of line the inside. Remember, this can be an absolutely messy craft, not a problem. So I just gently stuck that clothespin into the base. I'm not shoving it down in there because when you shove it, when you push it hard, it's going to cause it to contract or squeeze, and it will not let us be able to stick our skewers in there in our little arm spots as easily. We'll have to fight with it a little bit more. So don't push hard. Again, I'm going to do the same thing on this one. Messy, messy, I'm cool with messy. Okay, and Donna said she's so glad she found me. She looked in the wrong group. So thank you, Donna. I'm so glad that you were able to find us too, and I'm so sorry about that. I know that we are in lots of different places doing lots of different things right now. And so for those of you who don't know, I have a couple of groups. I have the Tenderfoot Village page, which is my public page, which I love to share crafts like this, and my Bat Girl. If you haven't checked that out, please do. She's a lot of fun. And then also we have a paid membership group. Let me stop for a second there because this is an important part. So I have this skewer right here, and on this skewer I've actually, if you can see the little tiny lines right there, and there's another one right over here. So I've marked off, that is approximately 3 inches, and I'm going to cut those down, and in case I shoot them off somewhere, I have spares because it does happen. So I'm going to try and hold on to it. Hey, that worked out really well this time. Last time it went way back over there, so I knew I was going to need backup just in case. Okay, so that was not an issue. So now that we have these, I'll get back to that what I was telling you about here in just a second, but this is important. So I'm going to take and I'm actually going to take that out of the lid because we don't need the lid right now. So I'm taking this one with the old-fashioned clothespin. Let me move these pieces out of the way really quick. Don't need those right at the moment. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of play with it for just a second. I want to see where I want my arms. And the thing to keep in mind, and I took it off of that lid, but we do need the lid back here in a second, I forgot. So the purpose of having that lid back is you want to make sure you know you're not going to have your arms that are hanging out over the edge. Because we need them tucked in order for the lid, for the jar to fit on at the end. So the goal is to make sure that they're going to fit inside there. Okay, so I see it's already stuck in there. Good, we haven't even added glue yet. But before I add the glue to the arms, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do a head. So I have a couple of different end caps, and you can see one of them is bigger than the other one. This one actually came from Michael's in a little baggie of a bunch of them, and this came from Hobby Lobby. These are the Dowel End Caps, and these actually fit beautifully on top of the clothespins. So I prefer these when I can use them, but these will work as well. And I think I'm going to put this one on here, and I'm going to put this one on this one. And it's just because this jar is a little bit shorter than my large one. So now what I'm going to do is I'm not going to squirt glue inside that dowel cap because it doesn't fit all the way on. I'm actually just going to load up the head of this clothespin. And then I'm going to take it and I'm just going to center it right on top of there and hopefully not burn the fire out of my finger since I turned my glue gun up. I didn't. And I'm just going to clean up that excess. That's just for me. You can leave it there if you want to. Nobody's going to see it. Clean up on aisle 9. Yes, Linda, clean up on aisle 9. Okay, so now I'm ready to glue, and I'm not even going to take those out. I'm just going to leave them right where they are. And I'm going to apply glue underneath just to secure. I'm going to try. My glue gun wants to be fickle today. Okay, so I just applied, I'll show you really quick, a little blob right there of glue just to support that arm. This really is just for security, you guys. They're held in fairly well with just sticking them in there, and you can see I just added a little bit more on the other side. Okay, so he's ready so far. We're going to put that one aside. I'm going to do the same thing for this guy, but I'm going to use those little square sticks. See how those work for him. And now these fit in there a lot looser, which is perfectly fine. So I just need to be a little more careful when I'm getting ready to apply glue it. Make sure that I secure it really well. Why do you not like me today? I thought we were friends. We had a talk. That makes me very sad. Okay, you guys, I don't know if you're anything like me or not. I hope I'm not the only one. Maybe I am. That talks to their tools and their gnomes. But I love doing that. And let's see. Must be a teenager. Linda said must be a teenager. Yeah, I agree. It's fighting with me. Okay, so I'm not really pleased with the way that my hands are kind of like, ah, I don't want that. I want, ooh, right? So I'm going to open them up just a little bit. And they will set just fine. Again, I'm just making sure that when the lid closes, those arms are not going to be in the way. So this guy, we're not going to put any arms on. We're just going to have him ooh in with that, like flying through the air, right? Or whatever, with his hands down. So I just was checking to make sure that that's going to work. I'm going to take this time, and I am going to squirt a little blob of glue inside the top of that. And then I'm going to just stick it right on there and let that set for a second. Okay, so here comes the fun stuff. I'll say the only thing about this project is that it does have time involved, and that means you can do all the things, but before you finalize it and put the lid on and let it set, the body needs time to dry. So remember that, and I will make sure and remind you of that at the very, very end. Ooh. Okay, so now what do? Well, we need our cheesecloth, and we need a bowl of the Stay Flow starch. And what I'm going to do is I'm taking a section, and you can see, let's try this little guy. This is going to be plenty. This is actually going to be way too much for him. So I may need to cut this down just a little. Let me do that really quick. I'm glad I checked that. So I'm going to just cut off probably about 1 inch. and see if it works. I hope so. And I'm just gonna discard that, or you can save that for mummies. Mummy making. Okay, I still need to cut off another probably inch the other direction. So instead of a rectangle that I've made, I'm going to again create a square. And it doesn't have to be a perfect square at all. And let's see if that will fit. Yes, that's going to fit much, much, much better. Okay, so I'm going to do that one last. I know that these are going to work and be cool, and I'm concerned about him. So we'll set that aside. Okay, so let's do this one first. So I'm going to take that stay flow that I was talking about. Ro talks to hers. Good, I'm glad I'm not the only one that talks to the gnomes and the tools. As long as I don't talk back, I'm good. Elvira, I totally agree. Man, they start talking back and we really got a haunting or something going on. Okay, so what I've done, because I was talking, I'm sorry, I get sidetracked. What I've done is I took and just submerged my cheesecloth in stay flow. All at the same time, I was trying to make sure I remembered and not just wadded it up into a ball and lost my corners to help me straighten it back out. So now what I'm doing is I squeezed all of the extra stay flow out, and I'm just kind of smoothing it back out so it doesn't look like his blanket has not been washed, so he's not wrinkly. I kind of want a little bit smoother. You can go for the wrinkly look, but I just wanted the smoother look. So I'm going to set that aside, and then I'm going to use a paper towel and wipe my hands off really quick. Okay. So now I'm going to take and drape, hold on, I got a piece of faux fur. I'm going to take and drape this over the top of my body. And I'm going to turn him all around so you can see. He's already looking super cool and ghostly, right? So I want to be able to tell that he's going woo. So I'm going to kind of tuck those arms. Like I just kind of took and lifted a little bit and pushed down into the crevice, so to create more of the hands going out. Also, do not fret or worry or be concerned if you're seeing little gaps, as long as you have enough material hanging down, because once it's dry, you can always go back and hide a little dot of glue to squeeze into that area and just bring it all together. No big deal. But you guys, I mean, look, this is so cute already, just like that, right? So how do we make this a gnome? Well, the first thing we need to do is figure out which side we want to be the front. And I am thinking it's going to be this side for me. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to set this stay flow aside. Actually, I think, yeah, no, I'm going to go ahead and do these other two really quick before we get ahead to that, because I want to do them all at the same time. All right, so I'm going to again dunk that cheesecloth into that stay flow and making sure I get it all done, and then I'm going to wring it out as much as possible. Okay, bear with me. Smooth it out. This is such a quick craft. Once you guys see how it's done, it goes really quickly. Like I said, the longest part is setting it up. Okay, so while I'm doing this, since we've seen this done once, I'm going to tell you, ooh, I forgot to glue his head down. So this time I am going to add inside, since that dowel cap fits right over. Put it on. Ooze. Go away. Ooh, that was really cool because my fingers were wet. Okay. So, let me tell you. So we have a couple of really great groups that we're involved in, and I just want to let everybody know, those that don't know. You can ask anybody that's in them what they think. I think everybody's pretty pleased with what we're learning and what we're doing. I'm always open to new stuff too. So, that being said, we have a group that is called Tenderfoot Villagers that is free and completely available. It's a private group and it's private for safety. I think it's important to have a safe space. I can keep out the spam and the politics and all that, and it's just a really loving, encouraging environment for anybody from beginner to advanced. Everybody is extremely helpful in there, and lots of information is passed around. Everybody's just really, really great. And so that's the free group called Tenderfoot Villagers. I think it's called Tenderfoot Villagers Making Gnomes now. And then, so I'm going to set this one aside and grab this little one now. We're going to do the one without arms. See, that glue held good, y'all. No worries there, right? And then we also, did I miss the name of the glue gun you recommend? Diana asked. Okay, so I have a couple. This one is okay. I like the arrow. The only thing is I have it's not the precision tip, so that's why I don't use this one as often, because I love most of the time to use the precision tip. This one says it's called AdTech, but I'm actually about to get the, I believe it's Ryobi glue gun. I think that companies that specialize in tools and power tools are the best companies to get things like that from. So that's my suggestion on glue gun. I hope that helps. This one is from Walmart. This one is from Home Depot, I think. Let's see. My husband has had to check me because I was having a fight with the glue gun. Who are you arguing with? Yes, I've been there too. I think my husband is so used to it now, though, that he just ignores it, which is scary in another way, right? What if I really am having a fight with a glue gun? Okay, so let me set that aside. Grab this Stay Flow again, tuck. Okay, so I was telling you guys about the free group, but we also have a membership group, and it is exclusive, meaning that only people that have paid for the membership can be in there. The membership for that is $20 a month, and for that you get all of my patterns and tutorials completely free. Everything that I have ever made and everything that I continue to add is going to be in there. Speaking of, I finished the complete pattern for the elves, so they will be in there later this afternoon. I recorded tutorial video for the elves. I did a live in our group, but I also wanted to do a video to have a really clear set direction for that, so it kind of moves a little faster. It's not super bad or long or anything like that. But I wanted it to be a little bit quicker, so I did that, and I'm editing that. Anyway, so that membership group has all kinds of stuff. We have tips and tricks. We have all the supplies we ever find anywhere will be always added to our files. We have the files inside the group that have all the patterns for you. We have pop-up lives. We have group rooms where we go in and we visit with each other a few times a month, just to kind of say hi and get to know each other. I'm about to send out an email at the end of this week for membership spotlights, so we'll feature different members every so often, and they can talk a little bit about themselves and their own business and stuff like that. It's a really great environment. It's also great for beginners to advanced. It gives you complete access to me, which you have anyway, but it's awesome. You can ask anybody that's in the group. I think that they really enjoy being in there. Everybody is amazing at being supportive and encouraging and helpful. It's really, really cool. Okay, so now we have our cheesecloth laid out on everybody, right? Let me dry my hands off one more time. Okay, and what we're going to do is we need to make this into a gnome. So how do we do that? Well, we start off with our scissors, and remember we want to pick a side that's going to be the front. So right now I'm kind of determining that exactly. So that's going to be my front, that's going to be my front, and this is going to be my front. Okay, so let me see if I can show you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to snip about a ½ inch section right in the middle. This is hard being left-handed. So I'm going to snip. Ooh, you know what? I'm going to do it like this. Give me just a second and I'll show you. So I didn't go very far at all. Let me take that out of there. So you can see it's probably about my pinky finger hole, right? And once you start doing this, you know, a few times, you'll get really quick at this, and this can be done very quickly to add the little nose. So I'm going to do the same thing on both of these, just snipping a little hole. We can always add more later if we need to. Snip a little hole on this guy, right in the lower middle of that head area. Okay, so now we're going to grab our little bitty beads, and I'm going to get out 3. Only 3. Okay, more like 10, but holy moly. Well, poot. Let me just put those there, and I guess I'll get those other ones later. Okay, so now I'm going to take this little bead. Actually, let's start with this one. So first thing I want to do is know where I'm going to put the bead. So I spread out my material a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to take a blob of hot glue, put it right on. So a pretty good amount, if you can see. I know there are some people that's not sure exactly how much. Don't be timid and afraid with that hot glue, y'all. You just do it. And see, I waited a little bit too long this time. I might have to. Hold on, y'all. My hands are wet, and so is he. So hold on. So when I was doing this without the tutorial, it works great because I'm not talking so much, and I can get this glued on. Even it didn't have enough time to get the wood ball wet. So bear with me. I want to make sure it sticks. So I'm just going to lay that one down for a minute, and we're going to let him set. Let's look at this guy. And I'm going to hold on just a second. Let me get a glob of glue on here. And instead of putting it on the bead, I put it directly on the ball. Okay. I'm just making sure it's going to set up. This is important to me. Okay. One more. This one's pretty wet too now, so we'll see how well. Well, this sucks. I'm sorry. Promise you the nose stays normally just so easy, but I just talk too much. Okay, let that set for a minute. Okay, and let's check this one. Yeah, that's fine now. So that worked just fine. So now what I'm doing is I'm kind of taking that material over the top of the nose. Sorry if you couldn't really see really clearly. I was just concerned about getting that nose on there. But I'm going to take that material and kind of pull it down. And you can see I've created a little bit of a gap. This is a good thing. So I'm going to lay him back flat down. And I'm going to decide on my beard material. So I cut a bunch of little pieces of scrap material, and this is a gray, this is a black, and this is like a brown with some black flecks in it. So I'm going to go with black. And for this one, I haven't done it on any of the other ones, but for this one I decided to cut just a little snip into the top of it and see what happens. I think it might turn out kind of cool. Yep, I'm going to work with that. So now that I've tested it out for a second, I'm not going to, so let me explain this really quick because I think it's important. So I'm not going inside of the material. I'm not trying to tuck this down inside. I'm actually going to go up around that, and I'm pulling that beard, not real tight, since I made that little snip. And then I'm going to take and pull the material around it instead. And remember, I said you can always cut a little bit more if you feel like you need to, but I don't. I think he's absolutely fine. So there's that. And let me set him. I'm going to kind of, so in this process, I was kind of smashing him down a little bit, and I know when the stay flow sets, it'll kind of really lock in that position. So I'm just kind of fluffing it out just a hair. And once you get everything where you like it, you can go back in a little bit and add hot glue to finish it off if you need to. And remember, if you have any open spaces at the end, you can also add hot glue for that. So this guy, we're gonna make him gray. So I'm gonna add a glob of hot glue here. Even though this is wet, it will work fine. So I added that. I actually really like the snip now. So remember that little snip? That worked really, really well for this. So there's our gray. He's so cute. And let's see. Let's do the brown. Another glob of hot glue. And I'm going to pull this down a little bit so I can see the bottom of his head. And I'm just going to add it right underneath the nose. And then, again, pulling that material around to kind of help create that head, that fullness. And he looks really cute too. Okay, so now that we've done that, I'm going to go ahead and put the lid on so you can see. And there's a couple of things that I'll tell you. So that's it. This is that fast of a craft. I mean, and it's even faster whenever you do it yourself without all the talking. So, let's see. Sorry, somebody was responding for me. I thank you for that, helping me out. So there's that guy. And then, so one of the things, if you notice, like to finish them off, I added like a little bit of ribbon. On this one, I think I'm going to try adding this 3-inch ribbon, and I'm started to fold it over. So let's try that. Just remember, once you're finished decorating, however you're going to decorate, you got to remove the lid and let it dry. If you don't, it'll get real foggy and maybe mildewy or anything like that. It only will take about probably a day to dry. So I'm going to do a little thing here where I'm holding. So I used my finger trying. Nope, it's not working. Give me just a second because I want to show you all this trick that I did a minute ago. So once I get him where I want him, I'm using my finger to hold him in place while I screwed the lid on so that I could keep the lettering in the back of the jar. So just lifting up and pressing, or you can glue it. You can glue him to the front and then just screw the lid on. It's fine too. So anyway, to finish off these little rims, I grabbed this 3-inch ribbon and I'm going to fold it in half, and I'm applying about 1 inch of glue down one side so that I can fold it over and it'll stay in place. And then I'm going to apply a dot of glue, and I want to start in the back, and I'm just going to wrap it. Really, I'm not applying a lot of pressure, just gentle pressure, and then once I get around to the back again, I'm going to finish it off by applying some more glue. And he's so cute. So there you go. And you can just, once you get that on there, you can just unscrew it and again, let him sit out and dry. And that's it. That's, I mean, super, super cute, you guys. A lot of fun. You can do all different colors. Also, let me tell you this. So, if you wanted to, you could spray paint or paint the spool or any of those inner parts white if you prefer. But I like him being the skin color because he's a gnome. And he's a gnome in a Halloween costume. You know, a sheet or whatever. So that's it for me today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial. I think it's a lot of fun. I can't wait to see what you guys do with it. Share in the groups, share on my page, wherever you like. Tag me if you share. I'd love to see them. You guys have a wonderful day. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.